So the main issues with dropshipping on Offerup, first and foremost, is they only want you to list from your phone, okay? So if you go to the website and you try to list it or post something, it's going to tell you to download the app. And I've actually reached out to their support and said like, hey, like I'm a reseller. I think Offerup's really promising. I want to list on Offerup, but it's so much easier for me to list on Offerup from the computer because I can copy and paste everything that I already have over to Offerup because I list and sell on a number of other platforms. And I want to bring my business and all my listings to Offerup to make sales and obviously give more value to your marketplace. But like, if you're going to make me list from the phone, it's it's not worth my time in a lot of ways, right? So that's a main issue. And they've obviously said that currently right now, their main focus is only listing from the app. They think it differentiates themselves. And it's kind of like a buffer for, people that are going to abuse it a little bit like we would be with dropshipping and just listing like, hundreds or thousands of listings, right? So currently, they only really want you to list from your phone. Although I also know of a workaround clearly where you can use an emulator that is going to basically something that you can download to emulate a mobile version on your desktop computer or your laptop computer so that you can then copy and paste a lot easier, okay? Now, the second one that I actually forgot to put in here, right, is that you can't, with a software like ZDrop, for example, it copies listings to mainly Facebook Marketplace, also Etsy, and they've slowly started to introduce copying listings to Mercari and to Poshmark, which obviously makes it so much easier because you can, with a click of a button, just copy and paste your listing to a different marketplace very, very easily, right? Another software like List Perfectly, which is a multi-channel listing software where you can basically take a listing from Facebook and post it to a number of other places, right? Or for example, if you have a listing on Poshmark already, you can cross-post that same listing with a click of a button to Facebook and then to Mercari and then to Depop and then to other places. But the issue with Offerup is Offerup doesn't integrate with any software because you're not allowed to list on the computer, right? So you can't use ZDrop to list to Offerup with a click of a button, and you can't also cross-post to Offerup because the software like List Perfectly, which is a multi-channel listing software where you can move your listings from marketplace to marketplace very, very easily, again, doesn't integrate with Offerup, okay? So that's the second one that I actually forgot to add here, but there's really three main issues. I only listed two. That's the second, okay? So the third is the next one, that you need to use an Offerup label a lot like Poshmark, okay? So you need to use the Offerup label to ship to the customer, okay? And that is, kind of a hindrance because you can't literally order from your supplier directly to the customer unless you do a little workaround like I'm going to show you here. And so you either need to do one of two things, okay? So those are the main issues with Offerup and dropshipping, okay? You need to do one of two things to make this work because remember, like I said, you need to use the Offerup label, okay? So you need to either, when you list on Offerup and then make a sale, you either need to do something like I've deemed, which is dropship arbitrage. And I've done dropship arbitrage for like a year now on Offerup and on Poshmark. And before I was actually dropshipping on Mercari, I was also doing dropship arbitrage on Mercari. But obviously now you can use your own labels on Mercari, so you don't need to do that. But with Offerup and Poshmark, you do need to use their labels to ship. And so you need to do one of these two things. Either use dropship arbitrage, which is basically when you make a sale, you order that product to your house first. In this case specifically, you need to use a supplier that's going to obviously have fast handling times. So a supplier and a product, right? A supplier and a product that has fast handling times and fast shipping times so that it's going to get to you within 2 to 3 days, because you need to ship out within 2 to 3 days on Offerup. So if you list, for example, an Amazon Prime product and you order that Amazon Prime product to you, well, it's going to get to you in most cases within 2 days, right? Because Amazon Prime's free 2-day shipping, and a lot of times now it's free 1-day shipping. So for me, for example, like when I used to do this heavily, I would list products with Prime. It would come to my house like the next day, if not like a day later, and then I would literally just package it up with the Offerup label and then bam, ship it out to the customer, okay? So you can do dropship arbitrage, which is when you make a sale on Offerup from your listing, you order that product to you first, and then you use the Offerup label to ship it to the customer, which is dropship arbitrage, okay? So you just add the extra step where you order it to you. But again, you're not paying for the shipping here. So it's not adding any other cost to you. It's just adding an extra step in there because you're going to charge the buyer for shipping, okay? Or you're just going to mark your price up a little bit more or whatever, right? Or you can do what a lot of other people do, which is what I'm testing out a lot lately. So I still do the dropship arbitrage because it's proven it works. It adds another step in there. So you obviously do need to drop them off at like the post office or in like a post office bin or something like that, which is not a big deal at all, especially for me because I'm always out anyway. So like they're right by my house and my apartment. So like I just drop them in the bins. It goes super easy and super fast. But so you can do it the other way, which is when you make a sale on OfferUp, you then order that product to the customer from your supplier, just like you would with any other dropshipping, site or any other dropshipping thing, right? Like you order the product directly from your supplier to your customer, right? But then because you need to use the OfferUp label, OfferUp needs to see and track their label going to the customer from you, right? So what you can do is when you make the sale on OfferUp, you do the normal drop shipping, right? You order the product from your supplier to your customer, but then you also use and print out the OfferUp label and ship it to the customer as well with a thank you note in it, okay? You can use one of these. Basically, that's just drop shipping with a thank you note. People also do this on Poshmark. Really, any site that makes you use their own label, like a Poshmark or an OfferUp, you can drop ship with a thank you note. Some people might not like it, so bear in mind that, although I haven't had too much issues since I've been testing it out recently. If you want to go, obviously less time invested, but a little, slight risk here, you might get the occasional annoyed customer, then you can go with the drop shipping with a thank you note. You can also, another way that you can kind of mitigate your risk is like offer them like 10% off their next order, or, one of the ways that I actually did this, believe it or not, on Poshmark for a while, and then I just kind of moved away from it. It really worked well, and I had happy customers, but I just eventually stopped because I hated going to the bank and getting money. What I would do is I would drop ship from Poshmark with a thank you note and also put a $1 bill in there with like a handwritten note, which the handwritten note took me like a minute to write. I was like, hey, thanks for your order. Like I ran out of inventory in my warehouse because they don't know where you're shipping it from or like what your business is, right? Like, so I was always like, I put the handwritten thank you note in the Poshmark envelope with the Poshmark label, right? And same thing goes with the OfferUp. You can do that as well. And what I would do is I'd write a handwritten note, send them a $1 bill, and literally be like, hey, like, I apologize. I ran out of inventory in my warehouse, but I have inventory in Amazon or in Walmart or wherever you're ordering from, right? And so I'm sending you a product, from my Walmart supplier or from my Walmart listing or from my Amazon listing. I ordered one to you. It should be on its way. If you have any questions, reach out to me or message me back on the platform. But I hope that you enjoy this $1 bill, for whatever, right? Like you can make up any kind of, it's just kind of funny, right? And people like to see that. It's just going to make them smile. It's going to make them happy. They got a free dollar. So basically they got $1 off their order. You could do any number of things with it. I'm just kind of spitballing here. That's what I used to do on Poshmark a couple months ago, and it worked very well. I got a lot of love notes, which if you're unfamiliar with Poshmark, it's just a comment on your profile that's like, this person's a great seller. It made a lot of people happy, right? So that's kind of a way you can give a discount. You can send money. You can write a handwritten thank you note. Or if you don't feel like it, you can just print out thank you notes and kind of say like, hey, one's on the way, to you. I had to order it from my Amazon listing because I ran out of inventory in my warehouse. So they don't think that you're just doing that every single time. It's just like a one-off circumstance, right? So dropship arbitrage on OfferUp or dropshipping with a thank you note.